if by chance what you hear from me allows you to see God in a great light, I want that to be the lasting impact on you. Not me, what I do, what I make, where I work, who I'm with, but you'll see me as in God have mercy on me, so I'm communicating that same thing to you. And I'm just showing you that love. And so that's the biggest difference in how I treat people, how I communicate with people, and how I just have conversation. Like, even with my concept of giving people money, before I would look for a criteria in order to give you money. You can't have kicks. Something gotta be tatted. Mm-hmm. You gotta look like you need this money. Mm-hmm. That's not God though, right? Like, you don't have to have. There's no. If you have a need, there's no look to I have a need. Granted, there are some things that are blatantly obvious, right? If you're homeless and you don't have that, and you present as such, then fine, right? But I used to have this thing in me where I wouldn't give to people who might have had decent clothes on. Mm. And I had to unlearn that behavior because just because I have an outfit on today don't mean this is not my only outfit and I don't maintain this outfit to keep it clean.
Right.
So I'm not doing everything that I can to keep this one outfit clean, and you see me, you don't think I have a need. I have a need, I just might not present as such. Mm. So now I'm more intentional about, okay, you telling me to give to this person, I'm gonna just give to them. The exterior I'm not gonna go too hard on because you want me to see people and meet them at their point of their need like you did for me. And so if I'm going to manifest that character or that compassion for people, I can't now only base it on what they look like.
Yeah.
And then what does that do for me? That now I've created a series of prejudices that I have, and I only give to you based on my godlike complex if I think you're worthy. So then now I have to take it from myself. I don't get to decide who's worthy of what. I'm just here to give what God tells me to give. Do what God tells me to do. And if that means I gotta give to a white man who looked like he got it all together,
I ain't gonna hold you. You won't get $1 from me.
You see, that's one of those. It's so interesting that, and I think it's necessary to have this conversation what I'm about to go into right now, predicated on the very last thing you just said, which is the number one thing that I've seen is how I deal with my brothers and sisters, like the change that I had the utmost hatred, really. And that I tell this brother all the time, like I'll get on the train and I'll see the bone structure of a brother across from me and I want to fight because of how you look. You know what I'm saying? And how I said before, there's sisters, you toilet paper to me. I'd use you and discard you like nothing. Those two tenets of how I used to operate predicated upon Daddy America have completely 180 flipped in my life. I have more patience now with both genders. I don't really aim to cut you off in the midst of your talk. You know what I'm saying? Get your point off, and I'll come in on the points that I might be able to contribute. You know, if I have an abundance, then you have. You know what I mean? If I got it, you got it. Those whole things. But married in there with the great love for us is the no love for anybody else. I just got no love for any other nation of people other than the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Just not today, yesterday, or tomorrow. And I feel like it's that separation that is necessary. And what I find to be interesting
What do you mean necessary? I'm sorry to cut you off. What do you mean necessary?
Necessary for our betterment, our progression as a collective, as a nation of people. What happens is a lot of our brothers and sisters live a life of individualism.
That's a fact.
That we don't see each other as a nation of people. And so because of that, we don't think about the macro as much as we think about the micro. And I feel like thinking about the macro is certain tenets of your Dr. Martin Luther King's or your Malcolm X, right? Brother Malcolm X, if you look at one of the brother's last speeches in 1964, The Ballot or the Bullet, right? Brother Malcolm X was talking about how we got to be able to separate from what he was calling, the so-called devils, right? The blue-eyed, white, or blonde hair. That we got to be able to separate from them, right? And so I really feel as though a step higher than separation is segregation. I'm a huge proponent of segregation. We need to bring it back. because it's our desire for the inclusion with all these other nations that continues to cripple us as a people.
Do you think within for black men, within a community of black men, with so many different religions, do you think that the segregation is needed, or is it going to it's going to make it worse when it comes up to trying to get more black men to come together?
Right. So it's important. That's a great question, because again, in that very speech from Brother Malcolm, at the beginning of it, he says that he references Dr. Martin Luther King, and he says that he comes from the Christianity perspective. We all know that Brother Malcolm came from the Islamic perspective. He references another brother in that, and the tenets that he holds, and he says, yo, listen, we have a common enemy, and we need to leave our religions at the door, because the commonalities that we share supersede our religions, our worldviews, our belief system. Now, I don't really agree with that. I really feel as though we need to really align ourselves with the power that is the Most High, because again, that goes back to our fundamentals and how we move. I can very much work with this brother, even if he holds no tenets of what we hold. But if it's now gonna be a thing where now this brother has a great economic plan, but it is at the, how can I say, expenditure of you as my sister, like, yo, I got a great scheme, but we need to like get her and in a malicious way. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we're not doing that. Like that because of what I practice, that is not gonna be able to be the move. Now that might be able to work in whatever belief system you have or whatnot. Just because you my brother doesn't mean that I gotta go along with whatever you're saying. And so I feel like unity is absolutely a great aspect. Like this brother invited me one time. We went out to Brooklyn, was it? Mm-hmm. Where it was a whole bunch of Muslim brothers that hold a whole different doctrine than we do. But there was brothers that was wanting to bond in unity and do something for the community. We could do that all day. But there's gonna come a time where our fundamental beliefs, they clash. And we have to address that. And we can't be afraid of that. And we gotta talk about that. Because that's a part of the spirituality talk. It can't be we just dancing around just to make everybody feel good in the room. Mm-hmm. I'm not about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm about what's gonna take us from A to B with regards to knowing that not everybody's gonna come. That's another aspect of it too. Not everybody's gonna be able to jack what's going on. And so some people are asleep. You know what I mean? And that's okay. So you take the people that seem most like-minded with you and you move forward. And everybody is gonna be able to have their small communities of impactful, indelible progress. And again, you doing something in your community, we can pull up. You doing something in the community, we can pull up. But if you're talking about now, we gotta hold hands with the Caucasian man, woman, and child, and we gonna go into the Arab community and now build with them? Nah, why?
We the ones
who told us that we gotta love them? They ain't never been loving us, right? You know what I'm saying? The Arabs in our community, do they get money back into our community with all the money that we put in them? No, they don't. Does the Caucasian man, woman, and child put money into our community? No, they do not. You know what I'm saying? No Indians do that, no Chinese, but they leech. All this we know. But that comes back to the whole conversation of identity. You know what I'm saying? We got to be able to move forward understanding who we are, not what we are. And that's very important.
Do you feel like that's dangerous in terms of